Hello, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Steel City Commuters Podcast. I am Austin Cairns, back here on Zoom again with my good friend Nicholas Brown for yet another great episode. Last couple weeks, we were present in the Media Hub. Last week, specifically, we actually had two big guests joining us. We're going to talk about those interviews and talk about those episodes a little bit more in depth once we get started here. We're also going to look ahead at the NFL season and give our official Super Bowl predictions. We're going to talk about who we think is representing the AFC, who we think is representing the NFC. No more jokes and shenanigans. Today is the day where we officially give our real predictions on who we believe is going to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. We also have a lot of other news to talk about in the sports world, including some big events that yours truly might be a part of, along with our expectations for the hometown team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you're not going to get more of an unbiased look than from the Steel City Commuters because although we are both born and raised here in Pittsburgh, neither one of us are Steelers fans. So we're going to give you the best unbiased look at the Steelers this year. With that all being said, Nick, my good friend, my co-host, you're back from bingo. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. That intro was a little risky. I don't agree with fully of everything what you said. Yours truly, we're being real here. We're always real here.
What?
I've given you my Super Bowl predictions for a while, and I stick to them
All right, we'll see by the end of this
because I'm
episode.
just the
We'll see.
greatest. Remember, I make the bets that are always the greatest.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how that lasts. But I will say this: we had a very busy week on both two Jagoffs and Steel City commuters. I'm gonna quote my man Seamus real quick. Banger after banger after banger is what these episodes have been. And I want to go back to one that we don't need to spend too much time on, but I feel like we should. It's worth mentioning. It was a two Jagoffs interview. My man, Mr. G. I've been wanting to do this podcast for about 3 years. Favorite teacher from high school. I've told you a lot of good stuff about him before we even did this episode. I want to get what was your thoughts on that episode, Nick? Just a
So he
quick little
finally
rundown.
showed up and said, "Let's just get the interview over with. Let's just get the hell out of this way because you probably annoyed him so much and peer pressured him and probably tortured him to do this interview." So he finally said, "Okay, I'm going to show up and get it done." Believe me, that those are the conversations that took place behind the scenes that you're not willing to reveal. Anyways, Mr.
He
G was a
picked me
real.
up in his pickup truck. What do you mean?
Well, you probably threatened him. God forbid knowing you.
Rhett! Oh God, I can see what kind of night this is gonna be. Just go ahead.
Oh, of course I'm going to go ahead. I've rolled the red carpet out to begin with. Anyways, it was a very good interview. Mr. G spoke a lot about your time, how you were very quiet. Now you're not, but that's back in high school. And Mr. G provided a lot of great insight into Carlington, what he likes to do, his sports. It was a very good episode, very good interview. Mr. G was fully in tune. He was like adoring the media hub. I don't know if I got the vibe right off the bat. He just kept looking around. Oh, this beautiful space. He's just like looking around, embracing it. He was taking it all in. And he really did take this interview and really got down to the nick of it, gave some advice towards the end of, to people and careers and stuff, which was really good because I think that kind of brings the whole point home and trying to shape someone's future and trying to give life advice. The life advice is always probably the most important at the end of every episode.
Fully agree. Fully agree. We also had the New York City reunion as well with
Hey, that's the
good
one
old
that I think people
yeah with
wanted the most.
Ryan Quinn, aka Louisville. That's our little nickname we gave him up in New York because his ass kept rooting for the Cardinals against what was it, Creighton? Yeah, it was Creighton
Yeah.
when we were at the diner. And they thought they were gonna win. And I was like, dude, they haven't won the last 8 years in March Madness. They're not gonna win. And guess what? They're 0-9 now. Anyway, though, we love Ryan Quinn. He's I've gotten close with him in the New York trip, same with you, and then obviously we've done some stuff outside of Point Park as well. I did the wiffle ball tournament with him, which we actually covered in that episode. And not only did we talk a lot about our careers and stuff, that episode that we did talk about all that stuff in ended up being the most viewed episode in Steel City history, baby. Well over 100 views on YouTube, a couple hundred on Spotify, I think. Facebook had great impressions. It was a banger. It was a great episode. So shout out to Ryan Quinn. Shout out to you for being there as well. That was in the media hub. New York City Cruise back, baby.
You just can't do any. You can't do interviews on Zoom. That just doesn't fit the
Oh,
T.
hell no. Oh, hell
Specifically
no.
for Still City, you have to be in person because the chemistry and the reactions kind of make it
Mhm.
all. I was able to break Ryan probably within the first 5 minutes of the episode, which I just
Hey,
mastered this.
you're being generous. First 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just mastered that skill. So literally, I think we now need a producer Nick Brown break break clock to seeing how fast I can break the guest. And I'm pretty sure I've broken every guest in under 10 minutes, which is the longest record on record and will probably continue to keep that just because I'm so damn good at what I do. No, Ryan's episode was amazing. It was great to reignite New York City crew back together. Already looking forward to 2026 and how this New York City trip is going to be, given that we're probably going to be adding Lucas into this group. So the room is also just going to be more shenanigans filled with all four of us, and probably more heartbreaks if he picks Louisville again, even if they don't even make it after the first round. So that will be interesting. But again, we talked about Chinatown, Little Italy, talked about, how he with the food and how we're shouting across the street and how we're probably scaring everybody in New York City and the Today Show and just you ended up on the floor. It was like 64 degrees in that room. It was an amazing trip, worth my $250, and I
Yep.
surely would do it again.
Same here. Same here. Love New York City. It was funny because Cass actually sent us the pictures literally as we were wrapping up the interview, only like 7 months later. And I was like, wow, what perfect timing. You literally sent them as we were wrapping up the episode, recapping the trip again. So I thought that was pretty cool. How about the Steel City and Two Jagoffs crossover, the episode that has been making buzz around Point Park University? Semester hasn't even started yet, Nick, and we're already making buzz. Chris Brisalis, president, doctor, I think I called him what did I call him? PDCB before the episode even started.
Yes, and then you called him President Jagoff.
And then I called him President Jagoff, which is great because he got to embrace the inner Jagoff, which is one of their criterias now. You got to embrace it if you're a guest on Two Jagoffs. And I got to be honest with you, Nick. I'm going to break the fourth wall here for a second. I know you're in a bit of a mood tonight. You're jumping all around, being all full of energy, but I'm going to give you some credit. That was your best episode you've done. You did an amazing job in that interview. I was very happy to have you as my co host. I think we bounced amazing ideas off of each other in that episode. Chris Pasaus was a delight. There were, I wouldn't say debates, but there were some interesting moments where it sparked interesting conversations to the point where you have to kind of rethink and reevaluate, be like, wait a minute, what is my stance on this? Or what should I believe? What should I not believe? And then Chris Pasaus also did a great job at reassuring us as the interviewers and people as the listeners for certain decisions that were made. The big one was our clip that went viral today of the headline of Point Park moving students over to the Wyndham Grand Hotel, which, Nick, you saw my thoughts on it originally. I was very upset about it. I was like, wow, how could you do this weeks before school starts? But then you really start thinking about it, the real nitty gritty about, okay, wait a minute. These students are actually, it's only 90 of them. They still have RAs. It's only a couple minutes from campus. Notre Dame is like a mile walk. You have to ride a bike just to get to class. So it's really not as bad. And you get a swimming pool. You get a weight room, no room service, which kind of sucks, but it's still a lot of benefits for students. So I gotta be honest, I have no complaints. This is one of my favorite interviews I've done. I love my wrestlers. I love my broadcasters. Chris may be a top 5 sooner than later.
Oh, well, first let's just say thanks for the compliments because I was nervous. You can ask Lucas. I was sweating the day before. I could not sleep the night before. I was thinking, oh my God, this is probably my biggest interview yet. What happens if I make a mistake? What happens if I like there was a lot of what ifs. But I was able to be reassured and brought it back into reality when he walked in the room and we were just feeling comfortable. We set the tone. It was an amazing interview. I did scare you towards the end when I started drifting off into AI. Threw a little curveball. Didn't want to specifically say, hey, beforehand, I'm going to mention this towards the end. I just would kind of fit it in where I thought it would be. But it was a really good episode. Chris talked significantly about Point Park, why you need to show the hell up in
That was
total.
the theme.
That was the theme. You have to show up. And Chris obviously did. President Purcell obviously showed
Right.
up. And so he provided a lot of great insight. And I think another clip we could probably pull from this interview and really could get viral is asking the lawmakers, or as a board member on the Port Authority, what would you tell lawmakers that don't want to give you the funding that's probably going to impact across Allegheny County, across the PA transit area, and of course, students at Point Park who utilize the transit? That is a big core subject that I think is starting to also make headlines
Mhm.
too, because budgeting and the travel sector and transit in general is a big part of the Point Park community and traveling. Commuters, especially, we take the bus into the city because of the parking. And I think he kind of reassured, lawmakers that we need the money. If not, there's going to be a lot of significant route cuts. We talked about the bus pass. And then, of course, bringing it home. And I think that's an additional point to add to the Wyndham Grand Hotels is Point Park police are also going to be surveying that area. So what that means is too, and I think this is a positive, is their radius is expanded a little bit. So Market Square is most likely going to be covered, and the blocks from Point Park all the way down to the Wyndham Grand hotels is going to be in the comfort zone in the radius of Point Park Police, which is bigger than what it is now because they only have certain jurisdictions. I'm not sure if you know this, Austin, but we talked about this in University 101 fall semester. Is Point Park Police have certain jurisdictions of where they're allowed to patrol, where they have service from versus Allegheny County Police, also versus Port Authority Police. There's a lot of jurisdictions here in Allegheny County given the amount of police, transit, and different schools. And so Point Park Police specifically being allowed to kind of expand the radius provides a lot of students, specifically myself, who like to venture out near Market Square, PPG, near the Benedum. That kind of reassures that safety is going to be top priority.
And again, that just shows the amount of insight that we were able to get out of President Prasaus within the 51 minutes that we had, of which both of us, I think I speak for both of us when I say we're both very grateful for it.
Yes, I totally would do it again.
Oh, for sure. We'll bring him back hopefully down the line as well. I mean, I'm only a senior, you're a sophomore. There's still plenty of time to make some magic
And you're
happen.
staying next year for your
I,
master's, which
that's
gives us a lot of great time to expand to Jag off Still City and allow for more crossovers, but also to kind of add to that, we're planning significantly into fall, into the winter months. And let's just say we have a lineup ready to go on both platforms for crossovers. I don't want to spill it, but we have a great lineup planned, not just with kicking it off with Bernie, then moving to Chris. It just doesn't stop there. We have a lot more Point Park students, executives, high ups that are going to provide a lot more great insight into the day to day activities, into the fall, into the spring semester, and maybe even kind of give a little bit of insight on how Point Park kind of designs their schedules around other universities, move-in day, fall and winter breaks, when you start and end class for summer. That is probably going to be a lot of insight provided from some lower level executives that have a great deal of responsibility.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was actually the next transition we were going to go into was talk about looking ahead. And I will say this, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will spoil next week's episode because it's a big one. We've talked about it before, so it's really not too big of a spoil. Lucas Coons will be returning to Steel City Commuters, my co-host over on Two Jagoffs, little social media manager, and he is going to be kind of looking ahead on the upcoming semester. The three of us are going to be in the Media Hub live at Point Park University. It'll be a week from today. And we are going to talk about all things Point Park related. We're going to look at the upcoming semester. We'll recap our Sunday interview for Two Jagoffs, which I know you're really excited for. I don't want to say anything else, but we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, look
Uh,
at you. You're all excited over there.
I'm on the
But
edge of my seat. I'm on the edge, just like our interview with Chris. I'm on the edge of my seat right now because of what transpired this week, specifically Friday. There's so much in detail.
I know you're excited. You're fiending over talking about it.
Oh my God. Especially
I know
over,
this is like the
I was like nervous, excited, staring into my soul. Like I'm just gonna leave with some hints from that. That's all I can say. I can't
that's all
wait
you
till
can.
Sunday. I will probably watch the episode again, just because of the gratitude and just
Oh,
I don't know.
it was a good one. It was a good one. It might have even topped Prasaus in some aspects if you really think about it. It was really good.
Let's just say let's just say that I have made an appearance. Even though I was not supposed to be, I have made some kind of an appearance.
You did. You did make an appearance.
It's so
I
good. Oh, come on. Can Sunday hurry it up already?
I know, gotta hurry. It's only it's Tuesday or Monday when we're recording this, but Wednesday when this is posted. So yeah, we gotta speed the week up. But I will tell you this: I do got some great news, and then we can kind of move into our NFL
Great
topics
news.
to wrap up the episode. Great news.
Break
It's a
breaking
busy
news.
week. I am going to be very busy this week, which really isn't breaking news. I'm busy every week, but I saw the eye roll. But no, I actually have a
We know that every week from your story. What's ahead this week?
Okay, what's ahead? Yeah, and if you saw the Instagram story on Monday, you'll kind of already know this. I'm going to be calling two different wrestling events this week. I still have my gig going for Thursday Night Fights with 880 Wrestling, and then going on Friday, Reese Hayes presents 880 Wrestling. I will also be on commentary. So 2 nights in a row of commentary, on top of me making an appearance at Taco Mania on Saturday with Enjoy Wrestling. So 3 days in a row of wrestling. You think I'm going to be sick of it? No, not yet. I'll probably watch it again on Sunday just on my phone because why not? But no, I'm really excited for it. I love these opportunities. I'm very blessed. Shout out to 880 for allowing me to get the reps in and hopefully pursue a career down the line in professional wrestling. I may or may not have gotten to a little bit of a Facebook war. I don't know if you saw this or not, Nick, on my one post with
Or did.
Clayton King and some guy named John, those
Front
two
and center.
bastards.
Front and
Those two,
center. Topping
yeah, those two.
headline.
Oh yeah, here I'll call them out right now. Those two bastards from Leaders by Example think it's okay to say that I'm a bad journalist. I'm not good at my job at commentary. Well, let me just let you know something, brother. You guys are the ones that cheat every single week in your matches. Let's not forget that.
Ooh.
Clayton King got disqualified by using a ladder and he beat a pierogi who didn't even have any shoes on. That's not a real wrestling match right there. And John, you're longest reigning champion, my friend, but my goodness, you need all the help in the world to get there. So don't be coming at me on my Facebook post and leave Toddy alone. Toddy didn't do anything either.
I'm trying to follow this thread here. I found the post. It goes
It's
on.
long.
It goes on for a while.
Yeah, it was all John's fault. John started it.
Yes. I'm baffled by this. I'm more than happy to discuss the wins and losses. You seem to be only telling one side of the story, painting me into a corner. Classic commentary team, am I right? At John Gleason.
Yeah, some guy named John.
Oh, some guy named John needs some help.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he does need help. That's why he wins his matches every week.
All I know is you so-called leaders have not won fair in God knows how long. That's just me being an unbiased journalist. Oh God, now we sound like we're getting to the depths of Fox News.
Shut the hell
God,
up. You're
my,
supposed to be on my side. I need your help against these two.
I am, but let's just say we're going into the depths of Fox News and CNN and how we're going to battle about who's the unbiased journalist and who has the greater coverage and
Yeah.
it takes me back to 2020 days.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this next topic because I do want to get into our Steelers talk and our Super Bowl picks because, again, Zoom time constraints are weird. But I will say, shout out to you and Lucas for pulling up on Saturday. We had a great time at the Riverhounds game. I totally forgot about that. I feel like it's worth mentioning. We ran into Kyle Archer. It was what, your first Riverhounds game?
Yes.
And it
Well,
was
even
my
Kyle in
second.
that post, even Kyle goes, "Where's Kyle the Spider Archer?"
Well, that I actually agree with. Shout out to Kyle. We do need that, but we don't need no more John and no more Clayton. Get Ferret Boy out of here.
Get the unbiased journalist on tap here.
Exactly. But
But
no,
no,
what do you think of the Riverhounds game? Just a
I
little quick take.
loved it. I was able to heckle the players. That was probably my favorite part. I was able to heckle nice and loud. We were right on the field. Lucas was heckling. I was heckling. There were two other people heckling. Yes, the Riverhounds lost, but it was a grateful night. It started raining. Let's be honest here. There was a nice dark cloud over us, and raindrops started falling from the sky. I'm the bright sun, so I'm not the dark cloud. It was also packed. It was what, the fifth sold out this season? Second?
Oh, it was the fifth sellout, but it was the second most
Okay,
second most attended game.
that's what I thought. And I would say there was a lot of fans. Plus, it was a Steelers night in Pittsburgh. So double that with the amount of people and parking. And let's just say it was not a great night for Pittsburgh. Riverhounds lost, Steelers lost. I think the Pirates lost.
Probably lost.
So, city of depression. You can even add the Riverhounds soccer game to the depression list. But it was a very good game. Kyle won WWE belt, was able to win at halftime, was able to like take down some champions. So Kyle is surely number one on the list here.
Yes, he is, not John or Ferret Boy. Anyway, though, let's move into our next topic, and it is our Super Bowl predictions. It's the time of the year. Nick, let's just go straight to the chase here. Who do you have in the AFC? Who do you have in the NFC? And who's winning the whole thing?
Cowboys, Steelers, Cowboys got it all.
I mean, you can actually give me like real teams that you think are going to be there. You don't have to, you know, just pick the Cowboys and Steelers.
Well, when I say Cowboys, because I know you're getting a nice little mullet, nice little bald face, just bald in general.
I'd rather go bald than have a mullet.
Okay, fine. You want me to give you my real prediction?
Is this actually your real one?
I'm thinking. because there's a lot of skeptical issues right now that's top of mind. Preseason is not going great for anybody. Let's just be honest, Austin. Preseason is starting out rough for everyone. Already have some injured players across the spectrum. Already having some officiating issues across the spectrum. Already having what's the word I'm looking for? Contract negotiations across the spectrum. And we're already into this season of who's going to make it far? Who's going to come out on top? Some say the Bills. Skeptical because Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is what, oh and whatever. He's not having a great year. Then if you go on the other side, do you pick the Chicago, Chicago? Can you pick the
The
Cowboys?
Bears.
Can you pick the Bears? Can you pick the Patriots? Can you pick whoever? I feel like this is the year teams that have been slumped are going to come out of the slump because it is very hard to have a slump year back to back. But then you raise the question Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and the Bills. Yes, Josh Allen's in a slump, but they have made it in the playoffs for how many years now in a row, and they just have not gotten very far. Is this the year they finally do it? I have no idea. This is so hard because yes, this is what's happening start of the season, but mid-season could really take a toll because you have to look at the bye weeks. Steelers' bye week is very early this year, and that dampers a lot of things, especially injuries. You need your players to be healthy, and so if you're having a bye week in week 5, you have a pretty long road to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl, and a lot of what ifs. I don't know. I'm in a tizzy because I want to pick the Cowboys, of course, because we made the bet. But I also want to be realistic with the fans, and I want to be good. You're like waiting. You're like waiting.
I'm getting the guck out of my ears. I can't believe I'm hearing this. You're being realistic. So you're saying there is no realistic shot the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
There's really no realistic to any scenario that we choose from right now because there's so much on the line that it can take a toll anyway. And our predictions may be reversed. They may come to tuition later. They may not happen at all. And it could just be a complete curveball to anyone. So if I had to pick an AFC team, I have to go with the Chiefs. Of course,
Mm.
I have to go with the Chiefs. I don't want to pick the Steelers. I mean, I do want to pick the Steelers, but I just can't. That's just not who I am right
Well, you
now.
can't pick them. They're in the AFC too.
Right. Well, I also want to pick them because of how we are, because of our, our scenario, our Steelers, but I'm going to pick oh God, Chiefs over the Steelers, but Chiefs in general for the Super Bowl. In the NFC, I'm tied between the Lions and Eagles.
Mm.
Tied between the Lions and Eagles.
My gosh.
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's going to be a repeat.
The
And
rematch.
and I think it's going to be a rematch, and I think the Eagles take the rematch.
You know what? I was expecting to come on here and start yelling at you, but
Okay.
you actually came out with some logical sense for once. But I actually am going to disagree with you for once. Um, I also too have the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl and winning back-to-back years. I
Okay.
believe they have the best offense in football. Jalen Hurts really stepped up last year. We criticized him a lot with his turnover issues before the bye, and then he figured it out once that was over. Saquon Barkley is a monster. Even though that line, half of them are tired, it's still dominant, still as strong as ever. The defense patched all the holes they needed to. I mean, the wide receiver room is deep as can be. I mean, it's a great team. Nick Sirianni knows what he's doing with his team, and a lot of people criticize him. I'm actually a fan of Sirianni. I like the way he coaches his team. I love the Chiefs, and my motto in life is never bet against Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to be right back there in the AFC Championship again. I really, if you say Austin, who's the best team in the AFC, it's easily the Buffalo Bills. They are the best team. Now, are they the team that's going to the Super Bowl? No, I don't have the Bills in the Super Bowl. You want to know why? Because Josh Allen is 0-4 against Patrick Mahomes when it matters most. He can win in the regular season all he wants. But once it comes playoff time, he has not proved to me, he has not proved to you, he has not proved to anybody that he can handle the pressure and beat Patrick Mahomes. The only three quarterbacks, excuse me, that can say they have beat Patrick Mahomes when it matters most is Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and Jalen Hurts. That's it. Those are the only three that could say it, which is why I really want to say Cincinnati here. But here's the issue. That defense is atrocious. They
Atrocious
are
to
not,
say the least.
they couldn't even make the playoffs last year. Now, that offense can beat anybody in the league. I believe the Bengals offense could actually go toe to toe with the Eagles offense. That's how good they are. But that defense is what's holding them back. So I can't pick Cincinnati. The Steelers, no, get them out of here. They're nowhere near the Super Bowl. That brings me now to the Baltimore Ravens. This is another team that can't beat Patrick Mahomes when it matters most. But what they can do is they can match him. Let's go back to week 1. Isaiah Likely, he was one toe away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Did we forget about that play in the back of the end zone where his toe was on the line? Ravens lost that game on 4th down. If Isaiah Likely just was able to grasp that football and keep both feet in bounds, they beat the Chiefs week 1. The Baltimore Ravens has a legit shot. The only question is will John Harbaugh hold him back? I believe the Chiefs are defeated. They're going to dominate the regular season. They're going to win the West. They're going to be right back in the conference championship. But we're going to finally see a team upset them, and I'm going to go with the Ravens. I got Ravens, Eagles. Eagles wins the Super Bowl. Back-to-back years. There's my Super Bowl prediction. And it pains me to say that because I actually agree with you. I think the Chiefs also have a really strong chance of being right back in there. But something's telling me go against them this year. And I've never had that feeling. I've always said, pick the Chiefs, pick the Chiefs, pick the Chiefs. I had the Chiefs last year. I had them the year before. I really want to pick them this year. I think I want to give it to the Ravens. Lamar Jackson wants to show that he's a future Hall of Famer. The only way you do that is you beat Patrick Mahomes and you go to the Super Bowl.
And I think, though, the Eagles know how to stop the Ravens. That's the
I
thing.
agree.
They know how to stop Lamar Jackson. When he goes to blitz, that's when shenanigans, and that's just when it all starts to fall apart. If you're able to contain Lamar Jackson and he's not able to throw it to whoever he normally goes to, that's when all hell breaks loose because he has to go to plan B. When you're able to contain him and he starts running all over trying to figure out which route to go to and who to throw, that throws off the whole game plan. And
I
so when you
disagree. I fully disagree with you. That is not the Baltimore Ravens game plan at all. It's the total opposite. Getting him to force the throw to football is how you throw off the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson's number one lethal weapon is his legs. If you get Lamar Jackson running, that's where the issue is. You don't want Lamar Jackson running out of the backfield. You don't want Lamar Jackson passing the sticks because that's where he's the most lethal. You got to contain him in the pocket, not outside the pocket. I just wanted to point that out.
But also, too, you have to think of, too, Derrick Henry.
Yep.
You have to contain him, and you have to contain their kicker, too. Well, I don't know now. Now they have a new kicker.
He's gone.
Well,
He's gone.
that's another point, too. Their kicker, Justin Tucker, he was spot on, just like Boswell. Them two went hand in hand for extra points. That is really going to probably put a little bit of a damper into the playbook of do you go for two more likely or do you just go for the field goal? And also, too, 4th downs is a big conversion. Lamar loves to go for it on 4th downs. He will always try and do a QB sneak for 4th downs. And normally it always works.
That's not Lamar's fault, though. That's John Harbaugh. He's the one
But I'm
making that
saying,
decision.
though, 4th down is very critical when you get into playoffs, when you get into the
Yes.
Super Bowl,
Yes.
because one little mistake can put a damper in it all.
And that's a great point you bring up too, because that's the Ravens' biggest issue is they take too many risks. And don't get me wrong, you got to play a risky game to be successful in football, but the Ravens play a little too risky. They go for it way too many times on 4th down. And that's something I've called out on 2 Jagoffs. That is purely on John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has made those decisions. We saw it against the Steelers last year. They went for 2, and they could have easily just kicked the PAT within the 15-yard line and win the game. That's all they had to do, but they decided to be petty and try and go for 2. Anyway, though, the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, they match up against the Kansas City Chiefs pretty evenly this year. They finally have a wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. That's something the Ravens have not had at all since Lamar has been drafted. They have a solidified starting wide receiver, which opens up the play action game. And that's something you can expose against the Kansas City Chiefs because the Kansas City Chiefs have an amazing pass rush. All they need to do is rush 3 guys, and they're putting Lamar Jackson in enemy territory. If you're able to at least force Lamar Jackson to throw downfield with the guy DeAndre Hopkins, who, let's be honest, has the best hands in football, That's already dangerous enough right there.
What's already dangerous enough if Lamar gets hurt or if a Patrick Mahomes gets hurt? That
Well,
throws in a
then
lot of
that's both.
wrinkles.
Well, bye bye both of their seasons.
That Josh Allen, that throws in a lot of wrinkles. Joe Flacco's back for another season. Let's be honest here. You got Joe Flacco, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have some of the oldest people in a quarterback that, like, come on. Let's be
I know.
honest here.
Well, I'm
Come
glad you brought up
on.
Aaron Rodgers because that's actually going to take us to the last topic of today's episode within our last 7 minutes here. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're the hometown team. What's your expectations, Nick?
Gonna be rough. Preseason is already off to a rough start. There's already 3 or 4 players injured. There's some that may miss out on to week 8. It's already a disaster. It's not already looking good. They lost Saturday by 3. It's just gonna be another lackluster season when you have. I like my mediocre saying, but I don't even know if it's mediocre at this point. I don't. I don't know what it is. It's just. I'm a total loss for words how you describe the Steelers. Because at one point you can call Mike Tomlin a mediocre coach, but when you actually look at his record, he has a decent record. When you look at his players, some of them are mediocre, but then you have some of them that are like the oldest that have been around since the 90s. It's like, you know, you can't teach a dog new tricks when they're old. Well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't teach Mike Tomlin and his players new plays because my God forbid we have to stop the ball. We have to run the ball here. Stop the run the ball. You know it's gonna be a painful season. I think pain. I'm only seeing about 7 wins,
Oh, wow, that low.
7 or 8. They'll be
Okay.
lucky.
So Tomlin gets his first losing season, is what you're saying.
I think it's that time. I think it's finally going to come to tuition when he does, just because of this team. There's a lot of great talent on the team, but it's probably not going to be good. It's probably not going to be good put to use.
All right. I will say this, and this is what I told Lucas when we did our AFC breakdown on two Jagoffs. They are in the same division as the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns. I think we can both agree the Ravens are infinitely better than the Steelers. I think we can also both agree that outside of defensive issues, the Cincinnati Bengals have a much better shot of making it farther than the Steelers. And
Yep.
although the Browns are awful, which no one's going to disagree, let's not forget they also trapped the Steelers last game and matched them 1-1. They beat the Steelers last year. So the Browns could easily beat them again this year. I don't see why they wouldn't. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in enemy territory. They need to go out there and they need to start the season strong. And most importantly, they need to find the end zone and they need to find the end zone early. These slow starts is not going to cut it going late into the season. You have a guy in Aaron Rodgers who's pushing 40. You have a running back room which is relatively thin. You have a wide receiver room which is brand new. George Pickens is gone. Deontay Johnson is gone. DK Metcalf is here. Roman Wilson's back from injury. Calvin Austin's back from injury. You have a lot of different players working with a lot of different personnel. Arthur Smith is going into his second year as offensive coordinator. Mike Tomlin's going into his what, 19th, 20th
Oh
season?
my God, longer than I've been
Lot.
alive.
I know exactly. Same here. Well, actually, not same here. I'm 21, but he's about on pace for that. There's a lot of moving parts here. I don't expect much. I'm going to be a little more generous. I think the Steelers might get a win or two more than what you're saying, but let's be honest. If they even make the playoffs, they're first round exits. Unless they play Houston and somehow get an upset win, they're not going anywhere. That's the only way I can see the Steelers winning in the playoffs if they have Houston or Indy or something.
Plus, their bye week is early, week 5. Staying healthy is going to be nice. Is going to be very tricky.
I'll give them a week 1 win against the Jets. I'll be
I would
nice
hope
there.
so. I would
I
hope
would hope
so.
so too.
That would look nice for Aaron Rodgers for his first official start.
You want to know who it wouldn't look good for? Justin Fields, who they got rid of.
Yes.
Yeah, not a good look at all. Well, Nick, that right there is our Super Bowl predictions. We
I was
talked a
actually
little bit
being
of.
generous today. I was actually going with something that might actually come to tuition.
So, does that mean you actually don't genuinely believe the Cowboys in the Super Bowl?
No, I'm just going to be real tonight.
Okay,
I
we'll
don't
put
I
the
don't want
jokes
the I
aside.
don't want the Austin Carnes spiel about, trying to pick a Super Bowl team and all the bullshit.
Oh shit.
Keep it
Okay.
nice and
Where's the
simple.
glasses at? We got to see the shades one more time. There they are. Are you bringing them next week to the media hub for LK's episode?
Yes, of course. And I wore them Saturday at the River Hounds game.
I know you did it. You made my Facebook page.
As I told Kerry Coons, you have to show up in style.
You do. You got to show up in style.
Can't show up mediocre and expect fantastic results. When you show up in fantastic clothing, fantastic gear, you're going to get fantastic results. Mediocre clothing is going to result in mediocring style.
Right.
Plus, they make
The,
me
the,
look smarter, anyways. Readers,
well, to look the part, you got to be the part.
I'm
Or
already
no,
the
to be
part.
the part. No, to be the part, you got to look the part. I got that mixed up.
It's all that
It's
drinking
almost
over there.
midnight.
It's all that drinking over there.
Oh, stop it. I didn't even have anything tonight.
It's all that drinking over there.
I did on Saturday at 2 PW, but that's besides the point. I had a DD and I was in Irwin, so we
Well,
don't need to go
besides
there.
wrestling too, I'll be probably at my first wrestling event in February with the gang, with the crew here.
Oh yeah, 2 PW. We'll try to get you sooner. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, but then that's when the big night evolves. Sheets run in the end,
Yep.
sleepover, not going to bed until 3 a.m. That's when the
Uh,
party really starts kicking in.
Oh, that just sounds like a Tuesday for Lucas. You stayed up until 3 a.m.
Or
Love
summer
you,
in
Lucas.
general.
Oh yeah. Well, Summer of Grind will be coming to a close soon. Next week, we're going to be recapping it and we're going to be looking ahead for the semester. Our good friend Lucas Coons will be joining us. The three of us will be reunited. It's going to be a great time and a great episode. Nick, thank you so much for hopping on Zoom again. We're going to axe Zoom for a while. We're going to go back to being in person. Sorry, I had to use your cadence there.
Thank God.
I know, thank God. I hate being time constrained. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Go check out the President Prasalis interview. Until next time, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.